Hello, welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports and another edition of Retro Grouch episodes. So, this is more of a reaction to a GCN video. I talked about 8 mistakes that beginning cyclists make, and a few mistakes I didn't want to comment on, but one of them in particular caught my attention. And apparently it caught the attention of a lot of the viewers. And it's about flipping your bike upside down on the side of the road when you need to do service on it, or most likely to repair a puncture. Now, there are these, and if you want to be a stickler for this kind of stuff, you could say, okay, well, and I'm going to read, and a good Retro Grouch always has readers. Rule number 49, keep the rubber side down. So here it goes. It is completely unacceptable to intentionally turn one's steed upside down for any reason, under any circumstances. Besides the risk of scratching the saddle, levers, and stem, it is unprofessional and a disgrace to your loyal steed. The risk of the bike falling over is increased. Wheel removal replacement is made more difficult, and your bidons will leak. The only reason a bike should ever be in an upside down position is during a mid-rotation while crashing. This rule also applies to upside down saddle mount roof racks. Well, let me give you this Retro Grouch's take on this. The rules, yeah, they're there to keep some people from doing silliness. They don't all have to be adhered to. For example, I like white bar tape on bikes that have white accents, where there's a rule here that it should always be black bar tape and black saddles. And that that your bottom, your bibs, should be black. I like to wear colorful bibs from time to time. So, but the rules are there. There's good guardrails set up to keep people from doing ridiculous stuff. One of them is turning your bike upside down. It just, on a personal level, regardless of the rules, it doesn't make any sense to me at all. So, if you're going to turn your bike upside down to do a puncture repair, well, you have to prep everything, right? You have to take your toolkit off. You have to take your 2 water bottles off. Then flip the bike. Find a nice level ground. And this, in San Diego, that's difficult to find because everything's a hill here. Find nice level terrain, like, for example, dirt, grass, something, to turn your bike upside down. Now, I'm not so worried about the saddle getting scratched, but the levers, you lose resale value when you're trying to sell those levers. It just doesn't look good either if they get scratched. Your computer, especially if you're an out front mount, that could get scratched. But even those things, you can probably avoid a lot of that by finding a grassy knoll. But and it's, here in San Diego, you're not going to find a grassy knoll. I mean, this is an irrigated desert. So you're typically on dirt everywhere, off the pavement. It's just going to be dirt or sand. But for me, the big reason why I would never flip my bike upside down is everything's upside down. It's like, if you're trying to shift, if you're, because some people, they don't know that to get the wheel out, the easiest way to get the wheel out is little chain ring in the front, smallest cog in the back. That allows you to get the wheel out. So, you've already flipped the bike. Now you got to try to shift, and you try to pedal. Most people pedal backwards. The chain gets wrapped up. So that's silly. If you go to take the wheel out, that's much harder to do with the bike upside down. I mean, I put wheels in and out for a living, and I'm telling you, it's harder with the bike upside down. So if you're going to take the wheel out, put the wheel back in, the chain's all backwards, everything. It just doesn't make any sense to put your bike upside down. I just want to make sure I cover most things. But so this is a personal experience for me. I was doing a climbing race that was 71 miles with 11,000 feet of climbing. And at the base of this 30-mile climb, there was an aid station. And there was tons of support, volunteers. And one of them had asked to hold my bike while I refilled my bottles and did whatever. And I was like, oh, that's really kind. That's really nice of you. I was a fairly new to this endurance type of stuff. And somehow that bike fell over. And that volunteer was awash with grief all over his face. The rear derailleur hanger got bent. And so now I'm on a 30-mile climb and I can't get into my two last climbing cogs because the rear derailleur is bent, and it's going to go, and the rear derailleur hanger, I should say, is bent, and now the rear derailleur is going to go into the spokes if I choose those last two cogs. It is a situation where you don't want to try to bend it back. I had someone on a ride one day, can you help us because this, they knew I owned the shop. They were like, hey, can you help us because this rider's hanger got bent. Can you just bend it back, or what do you think? And I'm like, look, don't touch it. Finish your ride, go home, go to the bike shop and get it taken care of there. There is a video short where I said everyone should have a spare rear derailleur hanger. If you're a mountain biker, you should definitely keep it in your toolkit. If you're a road cyclist, maybe not that important, but at least have one at home. Well, that taught me that from now on, no matter who is volunteering at these events, I'm going to take my bike, I'm going to lay it down on its side, drive side up, non-drive side down, away from people, run over, get my bottles filled up, run over, grab my bike, and get going. And this is what I suggest for you. You do you. But I think putting your bike upside down is silly. So, when you are about to take your wheel out, right, take your toolkit off. I use a toolkit that just snaps on and off. So, I'm going to take the toolkit off, open it up, dump the stuff I need. You don't have to take your bottles out of your bike. Just walk over to a nice spot, lay the bike down on the non-drive side with the drive side facing up, and then start working on your wheel. So this isn't that difficult, and it's so much easier to put that wheel back in. And a tip for putting the wheel back in, you're holding the bike by the saddle. Make sure that wheel, now I'm right-handed, so I'll have the wheel in my right hand because I need to move and adjust. I leave the left hand steady. Put the wheel on the ground. Have the tire actually on the ground, and you're just holding it down like this, and then just roll it in. If you're doing all of this and it's in the air, yes, it's very difficult. But if you just put the wheel on the ground, roll it in, align. If you got disc brakes, you got one more thing to align. So you align your disc brake rotor with your caliper, align your chain in the smallest cog, because that's where we took it out. So we're going to put it back in the same place. We haven't changed the shifting. And most derailleurs now, you have to pull back a little bit and put it into place. And then either a through axle or quick release skewer, pop that in. It is way easier with the bike in the upright, correct riding position or orientation. So that's just me. You do you, but the Retro Grouch in me says upside down bikes, that's just silly. It just doesn't make sense to me. So please like and subscribe. There'll be a whole lot more of the Retro Grouch. Like and subscribe. We'll see you up the road.